목숨이 아깝다면 당장 도망치고 아니라면 와서 싸워라.
Hi, this is the Unemployed Critic. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the Korean movie Space Sweepers and explain 3 reasons why you should watch this movie. To get more useful information about Korean movies, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. First, I want to talk about the structure of this movie. When we watch a blockbuster, we expect a certain narrative linearity. For example, the protagonist of Rogue One tried to acquire the Death Star plans, and those of the Wandering Earth have a destination but encounter a sudden threat. Filmmakers make their movies this way because it's the easiest way to make the audience understand their stories. However, the story of Space Sweepers lacks linearity. I know the protagonists pursue money at first, then change their course to save a child. Why? Only because they feel sympathy with the child. So it feels like they get lost among different spaces. The main reason for this deviation is, I think, the mismatch of different concepts. On one hand, the movie has a picaresque concept. It has rogue scrap sweepers who don't know how to work together and only know about money. On the other hand, the movie has a humanism. Familism defeats capitalism, though I don't know if the villain can be assumed a capitalist. It praises the unity of ordinary people through the victory of space sweepers over the UTS Special Forces. Then why did the filmmakers turn the badasses to humanists so suddenly? I think it is an approach to attract the general audience. Korean movies have been criticized for their family-oriented stories, regardless of each movie's genre. For example, Train to Busan showed how a father saved his daughter with his love. The recent horror movie The Closet also showed how familism defeated evil. But it's not only a problem of Korean movies, it is also the case for Hollywood movies. Studios urge filmmakers to make happy ending movies to broaden their target audience and make more money. So when I talk about familism in movies, I think it is not about the creators' capabilities, but about the norms of the film industry. Also, familism is not necessarily a factor that harms the perfection of a movie. Train to Busan also dealt with familism as I mentioned, but it did so in a reasonable way. The father paid little attention to his family, but he gets reborn after realizing he was responsible for the outbreak, so the audience could understand the familism of the story. I still can't forget the weeping of the American audiences who watched the movie in the AMC Theater Times Square. Therefore, I think the problem is not about familism itself, but about how to deal with them. It is hard to have empathy with the story of Space Sweepers because it lacks explanations. Explanation is the most crucial part of a sci-fi story. That's why many movies have adopted previous genres to spend less effort to explain their settings and characters. As you know, Star Wars adopted the Western and the Pacific War story. Also, we could understand Battlestar Galactica thanks to its pilot, as well as previous sci-fi movies on artificial humanoids from Metropolis to The Terminator and many others. Space Sweepers didn't adopt similar genres, nor did it explain its settings directly in the story. We don't know why Thorin Oakenshield turned evil, or how the little girl controls nanobots and does amazing things. I think this is the common problem of recent Korean sci-fi movies. I should take SF8 as an example. SF8 is a sci-fi series made by Wave, the biggest Korean streamer. It consists of 8 episodes that runs for an hour for each. Due to the short runtime, they don't have much time for explanation, so each episode shows settings that you saw before somewhere else, which harmed, I think, the originality of the stories. Wave insisted that SF8 drew some attention from the general audience, but I doubt that, because nobody around me talks about it. I think this has happened because recent Korean sci-fi movies are not media to deliver messages specifically for the genre, but rather part of movie companies' portfolio to promote their post-production capabilities or to achieve revenue goals. Maybe this is the reason why studios keep making poor stories with massive visual effects like this, or this. These movies are merely part of their business portfolio. What is the purpose of a portfolio? To prove what you can do and to have potential jobs. Like I want to have a job using this video as a portfolio. If you feel generous to save a soul by letting him have a job, please like, subscribe, and turn on notification. Anyway, a movie company's portfolio is to prove what they can make so that they can attract seasonal audiences or secure post-production projects from potential clients. I know they are companies. It is reasonable for them to make profit out of their portfolio. But why should the audience pay and spend 2 hours for watching a portfolio instead of a work of art? As for Space Sweepers, there is actually a way to understand the story better, the webtoon version of the movie, which is serviced on Kakao page. As for the movie, I don't know why I should love the protagonist Tae-ho. It is said that he is a former UTS Special Forces commander, but I don't know what he is precisely capable of. He doesn't use his tactical knowledge to fight against the forces, nor have any subplot with his former colleagues. No wonder he was laid off from the forces. You're fired! On the other hand, you can see deeper stories about the characters from the webtoon. There is a rivalry in the UTS Special Forces, as well as the relation between the protagonist and the villain. However, if you don't know there is a webtoon to see, it's no help. Moreover, the settings of the webtoon are slightly different from those of the movie, so the two stories are basically not connected. This is like the story of World of Warcraft. You can't understand what happened between expansions unless you read the novels. Like you can't figure out how Garrosh escaped from prison after the end of Pandaria without reading the in-between novel. So, these are 3 reasons to watch Space Sweepers. First, you can figure out what today's Korean film companies want from making a sci-fi movie like this. Second, you can see how the movie uses Familism as a narrative technique compared to other Korean movies. Third, you can witness how a movie loses its linearity when its characters lose motivations and when different concepts collide in the movie. Despite its shortcomings, Space Sweepers was well appreciated by Korean critics and audiences. It's not perfect, but anyway, we made it for the first time, so it's meaningful. However, I think this is a follower's mindset. Like somebody did this before, but we can do this as well. See how I can do this well. They can get to a certain level with this mindset, but it seems hard to be the best by presenting something unprecedented, especially in the era of Netflix. One of the major topics in the Korean media industry is the threat of global streamers and their capital. Korea wants to lead the global entertainment industry rather than to be a mere supplier for global streamers. But how can they be a leader with a follower's mindset? If leading the world is what they truly want, they should make something accordingly. Only then global partners will be eager to work with Korean creators instead of subcontractors.